What's going on, YouTube world? Sometimes retirement can be rough, and when times get rough, sometimes you need a helmet. So today we're going to discuss things that you can do to tackle the retirement roughness and prepare yourself for what retirement is and shall be. Let's check it out. So what do I mean retirement is rough? Like one day you might find yourself waking up and realizing that retirement is not what you thought it was going to be. And you need to prepare yourself for that. So whether you're thinking about retirement, whether you've retired already, whether you are seeing the retirement in the foreseeable future, way out there, there are some things that you need to prepare for. And so we're going to talk about 3 things today that can help you better prepare yourself for retirement, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything in between. Number 1, my name is Tyler Gage. I've been retired for the past year plus change, and I have figured out that there are things in retirement that some people aren't talking about. And today we're going to talk about those things, and every week after this day, because I want to be able to create a dialogue and a community and an environment where people who are thinking about retirement, have retired, they have a place where they can say, hey, you know what, this is not extraordinarily different than other people that have chosen to retire or will be retired. So there are 3 things that I want to think about when it comes to building retirement. And obviously, I've just mentioned before, retirement is a rough road, man. It is not smooth. Here, visual aid. Rough road. Yeah, it is not everything you thought it was going to be. And if it is, then, you know, we're happy for you. But for most of us, it's a little bit daunting of an experience, especially going from a workforce. Maybe you've worked for several decades. Maybe you worked for a few years. Maybe you worked 2-3 jobs along the way. And when you go from that workaholism that you may have had to not working at all, you'll find out very quickly that retirement is rough. So what can we do? What can we do to compete against it's not the enemy, but what can we do to better ourselves, to prepare ourselves for this retirement journey? There are 3 things I'm going to talk about today, and I hope you guys find some insight and some ability to get a chance to think about how your journey is going and how you feel, and realize that you're not alone. So here we go. The first thing up that I have recognized is you have to build a solid base. And what do I mean by build a solid base? Well, quite frankly, you have one solid entity that you get to exist in. Depending upon your spiritual belief system and everything after that, that's great. You have a body that you have a moral responsibility to take care of, right? And there are ways that we can take care of ourselves that are going to benefit us in the long run, especially as we get into our older years. Now, this may sound a little strange coming from someone that is about to turn 40, but as someone who's about to turn 40, I have already experienced some, I don't want to call them physical ailments, but just definitely realizing that my body is not what it used to be. And there are things that I can do in order to keep my body going as best as possible. That first one is sleep. Sleep, something I didn't do a whole lot of when I was in college, working overnight just to make sure I paid off as much as I could. When I was in high school, working the paper route overnight to be able to afford the car that I wanted to buy. Yeah, there are things that we may have done decades ago that we don't regret, but definitely made an impact on us. So one thing I appreciate in retirement is getting a solid night's sleep. That means developing a routine and a pattern and habits that coincide with my sleep schedule. Now, read a few books. Everybody kind of has their own sleep schedule. It's their own time in which their body says, you know what, it's time to clock out for the day. I'll see you tomorrow. And for me personally, I like to go to bed. Now, I sound a little old when I say this, but I like to go to bed around 9:30 and sleep nicely until about 6 o'clock. My wife, on the other hand, my wife has a definite different sleep schedule than I do, and she likes to stay up much later and get up at the same time, and she's able to function just about the same as I am. So identifying your sleep schedule and seeing what works for you is going to best help you build up your ability to get through those retirement days one day at a time. The other thing we're going to look at as well is nutrition. I'm going to say food, because when you're in retirement, you're going to recognize that there are plenty of options for you. You have the ability to eat foods that have better nutritional values, or choose things that you can toss in the microwave, the oven, from the freezer, that may or may not be of your best interest nutritionally speaking. So whether you cook every day, or whether you choose to go out, whether you choose to tackle a more extravagant recipe that maybe you haven't done before, keep in mind that that fuel that you're eating is helping your body perform to its best. So choosing options that are going to best benefit you are probably going to be in your best interest. Now, I'm not saying don't enjoy a little decadence, a little sweetness, a little ice cream once in a while. Maybe it's cake, maybe it's cheesecake for some of us. But keep in mind that the better nutritional value foods that you eat, the more likely your body is going to respond and be happy with the fact that you're putting stuff into it that it wants to be able to operate at its fullest capacity. So we've got sleep, we've got food, and the last but not least, to build a better base, is looking at balance. What do I mean by balance? Well, that means balancing out your day, right? And this could come twofold, right? So if you've been working and you've been a part of the workforce and you've had maybe some long days, you might find the opposite now when you wake up and realize, I guess I don't really have to do much today. Maybe I'll watch that extra episode of Love is Blind, or maybe, hypothetically speaking, maybe I won't go out in the garden and pull the weeds because the sun's just a little warmer than I had anticipated. Yeah, you need to find a balance that works for you. And that means get moving, right? That means finding things that are going to keep you active, but also recognizing that, hey, maybe an afternoon nap isn't a bad idea after all. Or maybe I pushed myself yesterday, so today I'm going to take it easy and not do so much and not put so much on my plate that I'm going to regret it later on. So finding a balance of activities that's going to best make your daily schedule something that you're going to want to look forward to getting up to after that great night of sleep that you got is going to definitely benefit you and help you get through this retirement journey, because it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I don't know about you, but I'd like to retire for a few decades, several years, and knowing that I want to pace myself, tackle some projects, take on some new things, but also recognize that I don't have to go 100 miles per hour or kilometers per hour, depending upon where you live, every single day, because that's not going to benefit me in the long run. So 3 things to help you build a better base for retirement. We're looking at sleep, quality sleep, food, nutritional values, with your occasional splurges, and again, finding that life balance that best promotes your ability to enjoy your retirement, but also find it productive and meaningful at the same time. The second thing that I want to focus on is commitment. Commitment to the journey. What does that mean? Well, as someone who's been retired for well over a year now, I have found that over the past year, I have dabbled in a lot of different things, and I have found the most beneficial and meaningful experiences to be the ones that I have committed to, right? I decided a while back that there are projects that I want to take on that make me get out of bed every day, that say, okay, I've got to go water this, I got to go feed that, I got to go cut back this, I got to go take this to that place. And finding those commitments that I find meaningful give me a sense of purpose and a sense of pride each day when I get up and out of bed, and give me a chance to take advantage and make the best of this retirement experience possible. So how are we going to help with commitment? The first one I want to talk about is signing up, right? Depending upon where you live and the experiences that you're going through, you might find that the best way to commit to something is to actually sign up and join some sort of organization, some sort of membership, some sort of community involvement that literally you sign up for and you commit to. And that gives you a structure, that gives you a schedule, that gives you an agenda, that gives you a chance to make sure that you get up, get out of bed, find something to do that you have committed to, a structure, a program, and will give you a sense of meaning and purpose while you are doing the activities that you care about. After you sign up for whatever events you choose to sign up for, the hard part, or the most difficult part, is to show up. So what do I mean by show up? Show up simply means that if you know that you've committed to something, you've signed up for something, put your best foot forward, put your best interest into it, put your motivation, your skills, your energy, why not? Why not give it your best efforts and put into it the best that you can, because that way you're going to look back at it and say, hey, I accomplished whatever it is that you chose to sign up for. For me personally, there was a commitment to, in this past year, it's been, growing things, right? I wanted to figure out how to grow peppers. I was not the greatest pepper grower in the world. I'm still not the greatest pepper grower in the world, but I committed to myself and told myself that, hey, you've got the time to do it. You don't have excuses. You're not running off anywhere. You don't have work obligations to go to. You are going to take this opportunity to do the best that you can and to put your best foot forward and to make this work as best as possible. Or you're going to learn from your experience and figure out what you did wrong along the way. And now we've got more peppers than I know what to do with. So yeah, making sure that you just find the things that you have a passion for, that you have an interest in, and make a conscious effort to give it your best efforts. And you're going to find the benefits of it along the way. What's the last way, the easiest way that we can commit to a journey of retirement? That is to plan ahead. Currently right now, I'm actually in the works of planning a trip overseas. I keep telling myself, one day I'm going to go to this country. One day I'm going to take on this travel opportunity. And if you look at the calendar, you got all of these days in the week, you're not going to find one day. So I know for myself, if I sign up for something, whether it's a local community event or a flight to another country, I'm going to go. Right? So I'm excited. I'm actually looking for flights right now. Even though it's several months away, I know that if I book it, it's going to happen. So trying to find those things that you can plan out ahead of time, whether that's on a yearly basis, a monthly basis, and registering for them and signing up for them, marking them on your calendar, making sure that you have planned accordingly and your schedule fits it, but then enjoying the process of figuring out how best to take advantage of that commitment, how best to plan out what it is that you want to do when you go to these places, what it is that you want to accomplish when you volunteer for these organizations, trying to plan everything ahead of time rather than just waking up each day wondering, what am I going to do today? What am I going to accomplish? What is the purpose of getting out of bed? If you schedule things ahead of time well in advance, whether that's a day, a week, a year, you have something to look forward to, and that anticipation is almost as emotionally rewarding as the event that you actually partake in. So keep that in mind. Last thing I want to talk about today is the hard part. And I know weather has been not so great in certain parts of the US. So weather is sometimes not so great in retirement as well. And so I want to talk about the third thing, and that is weathering the storm. I can't say every day in retirement is a joyride, right? Every day that I wake up, I have a positive mentality to say, this is gonna be a great day. We're gonna do things. We're gonna go out. We're gonna meet people. We're gonna take on adventures. We're gonna tackle the world. I don't wake up that way every day. On the days that I do, those days, I try to cherish those ones, because there are days that getting out of bed is not as enjoyable as I'd want them to be. There's days that I had dengue fever for a while. That was not enjoyable. But at the end of the day, I'm choosing to take some positive affirmations, some thoughts in my mind. You get to choose what you think about, right? You get to choose whether or not you find your days enjoyable, whether you find them frustrating, whether you don't like them, whether you find that you are in a rut, and that's okay. Recognizing that we have emotions for a reason, If we were all the same, we were all robots, not yet, but if we were, life would be boring. What I try to do is, even when I'm having those bad days, is recognize that it's temporary. You have that disagreement with your significant other, it's temporary, right? There are things that are going to come up that are going to cause you frustrations. And thankfully, at least for myself, they're not financial ones, and so they're not the end of the world. But recognizing that you get to choose whether or not you are going to have a positive retirement experience or not. Regardless of what happens along the way, there will be bad days. Bad days are going to happen, right? Your friends cancel on you. You were looking forward to getting to meet up, and something comes up. The weather doesn't cooperate with a project that you had going on and you wanted to take on. Maybe you're not having the best communication with your significant other, and therefore the plans that you had to take on whatever activities together didn't play out the way you thought they did. Tomorrow's another day. right? Like, that's the nice thing about tomorrow. It always shows up most of the time. And, focusing on what are the things that are in your control, what are the things that you can enjoy, even given the things that are out of your control around you. And that's important. Retirement's not easy, so make sure you got your helmet on. Last but not least, I want to focus on this word right here, doubt. Uncertainty. The ability to question whether or not life is as it should be. Is that a little too deep? But yeah, there's going to be days and moments where you doubt, what, did I do the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And sometimes, whether you take a coffee break or a deep breath and you recognize that this is a commitment that you made for a reason. To share a quick story, both my parents, who passed away at this point, they worked up until the point that they could no longer work. Their retirement, they traded work for doctor's appointments. They traded doctor's appointments for dialysis. And it was not, from what I could foresee, from my opinion, the most enjoyable experience. So I consciously said, I'm not going to continue working, even though I didn't, hate my job, but I'm not going to continue to feed into a system when I feel like I've reached a financial point that I no longer need to accumulate more wealth. And that number is different for everybody. But you're here now. If you decided that it is the time for you to focus on your retirement and your enjoyment of life rather than your enjoyment of punching a clock, then own it, right? Own the fact that there will be days that you question, is this or was this the right thing to do? And that's okay. That's okay to just accept the fact that, every decision has both positive and negative repercussions, potentially. And retirement should not be one of them. So embrace the idea that this is a new journey for you. This is a new chapter that you may have uncertainties about, that you may question on a weekly, daily, monthly basis whether or not it's the right thing to do, and that's okay. And just keep pushing forward. Focus on the things that are in your control. Focus on the things that you can enjoy, and realize that there are going to be moments that you question it, and that's okay. So the last way that we can weather the storm is a pretty substantial part of my life at this point, and that is affirmations. Hopefully positive ones. Some people call it self-talk. Some people call it a positive growth mindset. Whatever you want to call it. It's about recognizing that you have done some great things in your life. You have accomplished what a lot of people strive to accomplish. And you are at a place where it's okay to relax. It's okay to accept that you may or may not are going to change the world. But there's an impact that you can make in your environment where you currently live with the people that you care about. That's important, and it needs to be celebrated. So to summarize everything today, guys, your retirement journey is going to have some rough roads, right? There are 3 major things that you can do to compete with those challenging times. The first one, build a base. Get your body moving, get some quality sleep, eat some quality food along the way. You're gonna feel better, and you're gonna appreciate the fact that you have the energy to do and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. The second one, commit to things, sign up. Go ahead and pursue what it is that you have a passion for with a schedule, with an agenda, with an idea in mind that there are things that you're going to accomplish, and you know when exactly those things are that you're going to accomplish. And if that means a volunteer organization, if that means booking that flight to the place you want to go to, sign up and do it. And then it's on the calendar, and then you have something to look forward to, which can be a very enjoyable experience. And last but not least, weathering the storm. Knowing that there are going to be some rough days in retirement, that things don't go your way, that you're not feeling the best, that you're not happy with how some things have played out, and that there are things out of your control. When those times come up, be sure to focus on what things you can control, and focus on the successes that you do have and you will have, and that you keep pushing forward, knowing that this retirement journey is yours and you should enjoy it to the best that you can. All right, see you next time. So that's the retirement advice for this week. Thanks for checking it out. Enjoy your retirement, plan for it, prepare for it, embrace it. And if you didn't get a chance to check out last week's video, it's right up here. 10 things that I think are important about retirement that perhaps you might find important too.